You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network.
Wake up to the world you've been missing. Time to jump out of bed in the morning. No day, no life, now we're living. Can you feel it in the air that you're breathing? Time to show 'em what you're made of. Let's get back on track. Are you ready for a come on? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Are you ready now? You're lifting off the ground. Welcome back. No coming down. Can you feel it all around? Welcome back.
Hello and welcome back to Super Mega Crash Beyond. I'm your host, Stephen White. With me, as always, my co-host, Lacey Finley.
Happy Monday.
I feel like I should have read this a little bit differently with a very particular pacing and reading and like, hey, welcome back to Super Mega Crash Beyond. I am your host, Stephen White. With me, as always, is Lacey Finley.
Hi. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Wow, we are talking about things today. Let's have a topic. What is our topic today?
It's, as you can tell, it's wonderful acting. It's wonderful acting.
Absolutely great acting.
Perfect. Somehow I came across this little hidey hole on YouTube from a channel called Tomorrow's Teachings, and you're welcome or I'm sorry. It could go either way for those of you listening and might be curious. So it's supposed to be a satire site, like all those shows you used to watch that would have like some moral of the story or something that you would learn by the end of it. It's satirizing this idea, but like a billion times. So I had a sick fascination with watching a couple of them because I was like, who would title their video like this in 2024?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So with my morbid curiosity, I'm like, well, I'm going to click on one, right? Because I'm not a good person, I guess, deep down. And so I watch it and y'all, I don't even know how to explain my first experience with it because like the acting, it was atrocious. I think the first rule is you're not allowed to know how. You've never seen human emotion. You've probably never interacted or seen any kind of like visual cues on anyone's face, how they look when they're experiencing anything, nor do you know how to deliver lines in a way that makes sense. So that's first off, right? But I had to keep watching because the subject matter, I was like, how are you going to make this a story with like a moral? There isn't though.
No.
There isn't though. And what you think it's going to do, it never does. And the twist that they do, they make sure is so shocking, so egregious that like you almost don't even know what to say because you know that was the point. They wanted to do that to you and see what you'd say. And I guess they frame it in such a way they're not getting canceled or anything. Like I don't see any of these comments really underneath other than like how horrible the scripts are and how awful the acting is. But I've never heard anyone or read anyone being like, well, this is misogynistic, or this is racist, or this is whatever. And I got more morbidly curious for some reason and just kept clicking on some of them. And yeah, by the end of that day, I really wanted to wash my eyeballs, you know? But like, I don't know what it was. I don't know that I could even recommend it. It's just...
that's where it gets a little tricky because...
Family friendly, it says. I would push back on that, though.
So I did look up just one little thing just to kind of point out like very egregious examples of what you're talking about. Okay, so according to a wiki for this channel.
Oh, okay.
There is one video that is not only their most viewed video, but their most controversial.
Oh, okay.
Okay, if that's even possible.
Right, I know, because I'm like, they try for controversy. Controversy.
You said it right.
Okay.
It didn't. It was leaving your mouth a different way, but it came out right.
I think I was going to say controversial, and then I stopped, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, went controversy.
Okay.
There we go. But it's called Hot Mom Takes. Now, keep in mind, all of these video titles are like this, okay?
That is exactly word for word what he's saying is the title.
Hot mom takes autistic son's dick pic. You won't believe it. You won't believe it. It'll be the greatest pics you've ever seen. You won't believe it. It'll be the greatest. A lot of them are titled with that. You won't believe it.
You won't
it's so
believe
shocking.
it. Yeah.
Something to that effect.
Mm-hmm. And they're not wrong sometimes.
Now,
Oh.
this particular video, as I said, was considered their most controversial.
Okay.
Because it drew significant attention from other streamers and YouTubers. The video gained traction over TikTok and got memed. People were shocked, and a lot of you who watch these videos will be.
You should be, anyway.
Yeah. Because
you should be.
You don't know what you're in for until you get into it and be like, oh shit, they're going, oh shit, they went,
They're
oh
going
god
there.
damn, all right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Many viewers were shocked by the extremely offensive portrayal of people with autism depicted through a main actor who was placed in a wheelchair and made to groan instead of speaking actual words.
Mm-hmm.
But all it did was just boost their numbers on...
People don't understand outrage culture. It just helps people.
What this did,
Mm-hmm.
according to this little blurb, this attention just caused them to lean into that. And they have, because now they're up to like 20,000, 300,000 subscribers, something.
Mm-hmm.
In that
143
range.
videos.
Mm-hmm. So there you go.
There you
See
go.
what
That's
happens
what you're in for.
when you rage bait somebody and start thinking you're gonna take them down.
No,
And then it
you just gave them
backfires.
money. Yep, you just handed them the keys to the money. That's what I've always said, though. Like in the past, we've talked about this on, with video games that people were like, "Don't with this, that." Half the time, I wouldn't have known those things existed until y'all got pissed and started posting about it. You gave it, you helped it find its audience. That is what you're doing. You know how you shut something down? You don't talk about it. You don't interact with it. You let it die quietly because no one would find out about it otherwise. But no, you've got to take some stand on the internet for whatever reason to look hoity, or I think I even said that under a tweet about a video game. And I got brave one day because I got so tired of it. Remember that R Day or Rape Day that came out?
Yeah.
And I had no clue it was even a thing until I saw like everybody on my feed reacting about it. And I even wrote underneath there, I'm like, I didn't even know this existed until y'all were losing your mind about it today. And just imagine now how many other people just found this game and went, oh, well, now I'm going to buy it and download it to piss you off.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he's not on Steam anymore, but he's over there now laughing, getting his money off his website. So, and not sharing 30% with Steam. So anyway, that's rage culture for you. Participate if you will, but it is not doing at all what you think it is. And maybe you know that and you just wanted internet points. I don't know, but
no, there was I had an example and I lost it. That's my own fault. My brain wouldn't. It was trying to. I really should start writing shit down. I should have a pencil and paper like I used to on my desk and jotting this shit down, because I had something so great that I was going to bring up about rage and what you were just talking about, and I've forgotten it completely.
Oh no, that's probably my fault. I'm trying to be better about not interrupting. I try to catch myself.
I'm not blaming you a bit. My brain is doing this now where it hangs on to something and it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to walk over here. It's like, no, come back.
No, I needed you, man.
It's like, well, if you're not ready for me right now, I'm going to have to go. It's like, no, please, God, no.
We just needed to wait at a queue. It's fine. Aw. Yeah.
Yeah, these videos, man, I don't even know.
Where do you start? Where do you even start? So, yeah, I wasn't even sure like how this conversation would go, because I know Steven and I will find things to talk about, and oh my God, are there things to talk about? So I wasn't sure, like, should we just discuss per video, or maybe I might play along a little bit with an at-home audience with a couple of quizzes, like what did they do in this situation? And maybe you'll guess it right at home and have fun, or you'll be terrified. And this is the last we've seen of you, and I'm sorry. And thank you for listening this whole time, if I'm the reason we're going to get canceled today. Because, the one you were talking about on the wiki, I don't think it was the one that I first was watching, but it's kind of close, I guess, where it says special needs girl loses her V card and she loves it.
Okay. No, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. Why I just kept letting the playlist play sometimes, I just don't understand. Like, I just let it go one day. So yeah, it starts off, you think like, oh, it's kind of sweet, right? She fell in love with this one guy. He actually liked her too. But it got misconstrued or whatever, and like getting talked to by the cops, like he actually did something wrong. He's like, no, it's sexual, blah, blah, blah. But then some other guy, I guess, found out about it and thought it would be hilarious if he kidnapped her and put her in the basement and kept her there to do whatever with. However, the cops do find out about it. So you're like watching this whole thing go down. He's getting interviewed by the cops. He didn't do anything wrong. She's out and about, gets kidnapped by this other random guy on the street, right? And gets thrown in this basement, chained to a wall. But then you don't really know how the cop finds them, but the cop shows up, but the guy who kidnapped her is raging in the basement, having his I'm the villain monologue moment, and takes a pill, right? And then all of a sudden, here will be my first quiz for you. I have it written down here. So he takes this pill, right?
Right.
What do you think happened to him? He either A, he got high and just turned himself in. B, he turned into a monster and attacked her. Or C, nothing. We just never really figured out why we had to focus on him taking the pill in the first place.
Let me just start by saying, because
if you watched it.
I haven't watched that one, but let me
just
start by saying all of these answers are legit.
Okay, I figured there's no way I could lead you astray, honestly.
No, because all of them sound very legitimate with these videos. So I'm going to say, considering the direction some of these go sometimes, I want to say the monster thing, but nothing happening also seems just as viable because him getting high seems too normal.
True.
I'll say that. I mean, it could happen. Mm-hmm. But it just seems too normal. So,
like they just forgot to edit it out or something.
Right. I'll say C. I mean, the monster thing does seem more viable, but I'm just going to go for C because that would just be the one thing that I would not expect.
Sure. Actually, you were right, though.
Okay.
He turned into a monster, said he wanted to take her head and sever it. And then this is when the cop shows up to protect her now from this monster man, from whatever this pill was that turned him into a monster, right? So he injures him. He gets knocked out, right? So we're like, good. Oh, cop saves the day, right? He's going to arrest him and he's going to do all this right here. And then the man who loved her initially in the beginning comes down to save her, right? And it's just like this lovely moment. She's so happy to see him and he's happy to see her and he rescues her from the basement or whatever. But the monster had already the cop and the monster had their little tuffle before the cop knocked him out. Sure. Well, the cop's a little hurt though, because he just got in a fight with a monster. And so he apologizes to the kid. Like, oh, this really was love. We shouldn't have been trying to get after you, right? And did all this. And he saw how lovely they were together and all of this kind of stuff. So what happened to the cop? A, cop just gets up, dusted himself off, asked if he could just watch them make love. B, panicked, pulled his gun out and shot everyone. Or C, a lizard came out of his stomach.
Oh, damn. Again, all sound legit. I feel like he would have watched. The lizard thing sounds really bizarre and almost accurate. But I'm trying to figure out where that would really... What, does it matter? No, it doesn't.
You're trying to figure out where it's going to fit? No,
yeah,
no.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I'm trying to put logic into this. I'll say A because that seems the most just weird, uncomfortable.
And they would agree to it and all this kind of stuff.
And be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. No, it was actually C.
Oh, okay.
A lizard popped out of his stomach. It kind of looked like out of Aliens. When they had like that one thing, but you could tell it was clearly like a plastic lizard doll covered in like Jello because special effects, I guess.
And these are the
practical effects is the word I was looking for.
I keep looking at these as the most bizarre, like the most fucking out there. They're not going to do that because they don't have a budget for it. And I should just think, no, that's exactly what they're going to do. The most
figure it out.
egregious fucking things. Yeah, it doesn't need to look good. What am I thinking?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. So that should be just a little taste. And that was the most tame.
Most tame, to be sure.
Because I was trying to find the tame ones to actually talk about, but there's so little. You guys are just going to have to go with the ride today or come back next week.
Now, understand. This is meant to be satire, okay?
Yeah. It's meant to rile you up.
Yeah, 100%. If you've ever seen, they remind me of those, what would you call them? Because we used to watch them in school, like the... God damn it! What kind of videos were they called?
I don't know. I went to a different school. If it didn't have God in it, I probably didn't see it.
It's the type of videos that they used to put on to explain shit to you or something like that in school, and be like, "Hey, I know there have been some questions about this thing. We're going to put
like
on
an industrial or something where you're just like watching this."
And they could easily lean into that where you have the music and everything. They don't, but they could. But it has that feel of like a PBS after school special video because the acting, like you mentioned up front, everything is bare bones. Hey, oh man, and everybody, the family units in every video seem to be, you'd have like a white dad and then a black son, and then they just be like, oh, he's my adopted dad. They just bring it up just to kind of cover it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. No,
it
was
so
probably
you're aware.
just like the people that I knew. One guy I knew that was willing to participate was black, and one guy I knew that was willing to participate was white. And fine, you're now father and son.
Yeah,
let's just film it. Is basically how I imagine it happens. Oh, you're willing to be in my movie or my 15-minute short? Fine.
Yeah,
We'll just put a throwaway line in that'll explain everything, and we'll move on. Okay.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So one video very much like this that I watched, I think either this morning or last night. It's probably one of the most recent videos. It was called Whippets Make Teen Go Insane. You won't believe it. Now, this is just some kid who's in school or college or whatever. He's just.
I actually watched this one too. Yeah.
He's such a good boy. He's got, great student, whatever. He's trying to learn stuff, but then he's introduced to whippets by some,
which is very topical right now. The Galaxy Gas stuff.
Yeah, and it's this guy he's hanging out with his buddies. That's what it was, his school friends. And you have this one guy that's up to 11.
Sure.
Just puffing his whippet cans or his whatever.
Like he just pulled it out of his sock or some garbage too. It's like his one friend comes in. It's like, hey, what's going on, guys, or whatever, and acting all squirrely and sits down. And then you cut back to him pulling a whipped cream can out of his sock or something. Like, where did you get that? You had no bag when you walked in.
And then after, you've got that guy, and then there's the other guy who. What's the best way to describe this dude? We all know this guy. There was one of this guy in every town, in your friend group, in your school, or whatever. He's... and make it sound so bad, and I'm trying not to describe this terribly and insult anybody.
I mean, it is what it is, I think, for this episode.
He's like the one kid who would be kind of quiet, and he kind of seemed, didn't really mess with anybody, kind of kept to himself. But he also was that one kid who had the glasses and was starting to grow his mustache just a little too early, and just like, okay, he's 14, but he's got some facial hair. That's normal. That's okay.
Right? Yeah.
And then of course it's okay, man. And he's the guy trying to coax. It's all right, man. It's whippets, dude. It's the greatest thing ever.
Greatest high in your head you've ever had, and all this stuff. Yeah.
Talks their buddy into doing the whippets, and of course, when he does, Dad starts marching in at the exact moment that he's doing the whippets, and everybody's freaking out. And he's like, "Hey, don't be doing whippets. Whippets are bad for you." And he's the very typical dad.
Yeah.
Things like
very big about it, of course.
Big.
What are you doing?
Rages to an extreme at some point.
Yes.
Gets a little like
for a first time offender, it was a little big. Yeah.
Yeah, he got mad at him for, what was it? Oh, no,
Because
he came in there arguing about, or fussing about something, and then talked about him racking up a $500 porn bill in a motel or some shit.
Something like that, yeah.
It's like, what does that have to do with anything? What are you
Probably
talking about?
nothing. Like, just backstory into who we're watching here. So this kid doing whippets also is addicted to porn. For whatever reason, you need to know that. Maybe it makes the next scene make sense.
Yeah, maybe. Because
I love when I'm saying makes sense. Like,
because remember, he got in trouble for the $500 porn bill. He couldn't tutor anymore.
Nope.
You know, because he is a smart kid. He's a smart kid.
He makes really good grades. Dad doesn't want him throwing his life away.
So I'm guessing he was eventually hanging out with his girlfriend in his house, which I don't know. Are they on a bed? I'm guessing in his room.
They're sitting in bed. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And
eating
she was
popcorn,
excited.
Popping a bottle of wine for some weird reason. I don't know what they're watching on television, but it's just awkward shit in their bed.
It's the same bed and house that they use, I think, in almost every video.
Yeah.
It
looks bare bones as fuck. Like when I looked at these rooms and the bare bones of it all, like there's nothing on the walls. I was like, I remember friends who had these apartments where there was nothing. Like it did not feel like a home at all. It was just so bare. Here's a couch, here's a bed. That's my shit. And there, we're good.
There, I got a roof. We're good. Yeah.
So yeah, he's talking to his girlfriend. Could have been the tutor or
we're not sure. It could just be a friend. He may not even know who it is.
He may not even know. And then she's whips out, hey, let's do some whippets. Big fucking can now. Gigantic.
She was all excited because she was going to get 3 new flavors of Galaxy Gas that weekend. Because this is what their life revolves around, I guess, is this whippet can.
Yeah. So Dad, he shows up again.
Right as she talked him into doing it again. Because he's like, nah. Dad's mad at me. I said I wouldn't do it anymore. And of course, she coerces him into doing it. And then they both pretend to like huff this can. And of course, here comes Dad.
Yep, here comes Dad. Dad chews his ass out left or right. You're a goober. You're a goober. That's what he says as he takes his belt off and smacks this boy. You're a goober. You're a goober. Now, the girl and the boyfriend are now having this moment together, you know, just trying to cope with everything. Just what are we going to do? I'm sorry. I didn't want you to do the whippets, or I didn't want to have to do the whippets, and now I just don't know what's going to happen. His dad is cleaning the gutters on a ladder one day, and guy just decides, fuck it. He pushes the ladder over with his dad on top of it, just knocks him over, and, you know, maybe hurts and damages and injures his dad, and then it turns really, really dark. His dad was going to send him to
military school.
Yeah, follow me here on this. Follow me here on this, because
if we can, yes,
because it did. It was like, what are you talking about? So. Yeah, his dad was going to send him to military school after beating him to death with the belt, calling him a goober. That was part of the whole thing. You're going to military school. I'm going to straighten you out.
Straighten you out.
Yeah. So, yeah, he pushes his dad off of the ladder. Then we cut to a scene of the guy from the military school showing up.
Which that guy's in a lot of their videos, too, which is hilarious. They just slap like a new wig on him, and it's just funny.
And it definitely seemed like they had. So he's there to pick up Mikey to go to the military school, and Mikey's the one that answers the door and then tries to pawn his dad off on this guy as the son going to the military school. This is where I was just like, what are you talking about, man? They are not responsible for a handicapped person or someone who's mental needs. What are you talking about? What are you doing, man? This is not how military school works.
Nope.
But they ship him off. Doesn't matter. The guy takes him anyway.
Wasn't it like a van with an anarchy symbol on it too, or something? Where I'm just like, well, what is that? What is that now?
All boys military school, whatever. And then of course the boyfriend and the girlfriend wave it off goodbye. They go back in. They start doing their whippets.
Yeah. He's addicted now.
He's addicted now.
This is his life. It's whippets.
His friend who was doing the whippets or got him into the whippets.
Yeah, they got to start.
Also drops by while he's mid-high. I can't even remember where the girl went. Oh, that's right. She said she had a surprise for him. She was going to go get a surprise. So he sat on the couch with his eyes closed.
As
the friend,
oh yes,
the friend shows up. The squirrely one who wanted to get him.
That pulled the whippet from his sock or whatever. Yeah.
He sees his friend sitting on the couch with his eyes closed, and decides this is a great opportunity to orally rape the man.
Yeah, just pleasure his friend for no reason, I guess.
Guy doesn't question it at all.
Nope.
Until something just kind of, I can't even remember what did it. The girl showed up or something like that, didn't she?
I think she did, yeah. Where does Ghostface come in? Because wasn't there somebody Ghostface costume whipping it too? Like, I was just, I'm like, I feel like I just watched this the other day too, yesterday, so I should have more, maybe my brain's trying to protect me and it's blocking some of this stuff. But because, yeah, I think she was maybe in the Ghostface thing. I don't remember, or no. The girl was in the kitchen, then Ghostface just shows up out of nowhere, then starts doing the whippets can. He got spooked while getting the blowjob from the girl screaming in the kitchen from Ghostface. Jesus fuck, that was a lot to get to. Oh, right, that's a sentence you never thought you'd have to say.
No, I never thought, never in a million years did I think that would come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Come to find out that the Ghostface was the dad coming to kill the son for sending him to the camp. And then they have a talk on the couch about something.
There was the moral of the story, I'm sure, at that point. Yeah. Like,
look at the cycle. The cycle of what Whippets did. He started Whippets. His dad got mad. He got mad at his son. He tried to kill his dad because of the Whippets and the Whippets. And he got, look, it was a full circle because of the Whippets.
Whippets are bad.
Try to kill everybody.
Let's put it that way.
That's what we're trying. That was the teaching of tomorrow's teaching in this video. All was good. They were happy. Beautiful stuff, right?
They did. They had a moment where they cried with each other or whatever. Dad and son. They got back together. Like, yeah. So I'm just going to say moral of the story is Whippets are bad.
Yeah. Whippets are bad.
Look what it does to people. Look what it does to people.
That wasn't even the worst one I watched.
No, I think we're picking the good ones because it's hard to pick a good one.
Okay.
Like, it's just how it is. Although, oh God.
Unless you have another one, because I have one that
I have several. I wrote down just in case. You know,
it's your
I like
turn.
to over prep.
It's your turn.
Oh. Because there was one through line I saw in some of them that actually does make me guffaw pretty hard. Because again, practical effects and they're leading into it or whatever. Let's see which one. Okay, yes. So mom poisons pregnant daughter. Ending is shocking, right? So, so there's this guy Joe, right? States this girl, and the mom. Her mom, I guess, is kind of sweet on her boyfriend. So you got woman dating man. Her mom is also trying to date him or something. They're sitting in a van having a conversation when all of a sudden he gets a text message. It's his birthday. She's wishing him a happy birthday, right? So when he opens up the text message, it's his girlfriend's mom with like this sexy little video for a happy birthday to you or whatever. And rightfully, she's like, what's going on? Why is my mom sending you that? You know, oh, your mom just sends me videos like this. Like, it's fine. Like, you know, and she's like, but it's not fine. Yeah. I don't think. But so they go to her house, you know, because she had to go see her mom on his birthday. Mom gives him a hug, doesn't hug her daughter or anything like this, you know. And then they find out she's pregnant. Well, mom wants Joe. So she's basically poisoning her daughter slowly throughout while she's also trying to hit on Joe. Now, I'll give Joe a thumbs up. He was actually trying to be with the girlfriend, right?
Okay.
Like, so he wasn't actually in this one. You would expect it to be, right? Like, then all of a sudden, oh God, she's dead. Thank God. And they just like make out. And that's exactly what you would probably think a show like this would do. So they have this big moment. He comes over. Where's my girlfriend? How's the baby? What's going on? Mom starts gaslighting him. She doesn't want to see you. She hates your guts. She's all this stuff. Blah. No, that's not true. So they have this very dramatic, very well acted out conversation back and forth because it's the skinny white kid, if you remember him in there.
Yeah,
I think he actually owns the show because I see him at the end sometimes being like, hey, thanks for watching. And I'll be like, well, you shouldn't thank me though. You should be apologizing to me. But, so he's so good. And then he breaks past mom. He's going to go see girlfriend. She's sick and he doesn't understand why. And then she pulls a gun out of his pants, the mom. And then they have a fight with the gun. It falls, gets kicked, of course, towards girlfriend, and who picks it up. And now you have that back and forth. No, shoot him. He hates you, baby. He wants to kill you and the baby. And he's like, no, your mom's crazy. Like she's trying to get. Blah, blah, blah. You hear the gun go off. You don't know what happened. Oh no. Who shot? Who was dead? Who was it? Who was it? Well, she shot mom. Right? Okay. So she shoots mom. They have the baby. You think everything's going well, right? And so, but it's typical life now. They're just a fighting couple with a kid and just having all of this. So he decided he's just not like into this life anymore that he thought he was fighting so hard for. So what he ends up doing is, and here's one that I give you like another little breakdown if you wanted to play along at home here. So either A, daughter never actually had the baby and is 19 months pregnant. B, mom came back from the dead and was eating the baby. Or C, Joe killed the baby throwing it off a cliff.
All seem viable.
Right? Come on, listeners at home, which do you think it is?
Based on the facts presented.
Yes.
And how this narrative is going.
So it's so gripping.
You know what? The guy's just going to chuck the baby. That seems like a thing that would happen in this. That would be shocking and yet maybe not. Because the eating the baby, that would be rough.
That would be rough.
You know.
They have a couple cannibal things on there, I think. So we'll find out.
Okay, so it might not be too rough.
It's possible. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. So you're going with throws it off the cliff?
Yeah.
Well, you're right.
Okay.
You are correct. Now, what's hilarious, though, is they have baby dolls, and you literally just see him chuck it.
Yeah.
Like, chuck the baby off this cliff. And then she's like, why would you do that? And now we're having that conversation instead of, oh, my God, you just threw our baby off a cliff.
Yeah.
But to me, I laughed so hard when I literally could see him holding the baby doll and just fucking throwing it. And I was just like, oh, my God. That's hilarious. Like,
it's
you're
the
going there.
Absurdity of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm chucking this baby. I don't want it. And we're doing that. And oh my God. But that's one of the practical effects that I've seen them do in some other things where it was just like someone gets tossed or whatever. And it's just like a dummy. Like it's clearly a dummy that's getting thrown across or whatever. And then back to the person. I don't know why. Maybe I'm a child. I think doing that was just hilarious.
No, I mean, it works. It can be very funny sometimes. I remember there was a show I watched on Netflix called Auntie Donna's Big Old House of Fun. I don't know if you remember me mentioning that one to you. I
feel like yes.
It came and went. That's the part of it that bothers me so much. But I mean, they're YouTubers. So the fact that they even got a Netflix show to begin with, that was
nice. Yeah.
Applause. But they had a sketch in one of their episodes that they utilized the dumping of a body into a trash bin, and it was just a dummy. But from the original scene, it was an actual dude, so they did that like 2 or 3 times throughout there. And I thought, that's good. That's funny.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. But yeah, because there was like another video or something where one of the dads just straight up put the baby in the garbage can. Yeah. And you're just like, all right, but I just love that they actually use a doll and they make sure you see them doing it. I don't know why. I was just like, maybe for the extra shock value. They're like, oh, and what if you threw the baby away? Yeah. And then everybody sitting around the table's like, that's gold. Film it or whatever they do when they're putting these together because they're still making them. Because this Whip It one we were talking about was just like this week or last week or something. Well, By the time
Yeah.
you're hearing this, I don't know when it aired, but like recent.
It was recent for us when we started watching it, and some of the others we watched will be a couple of months old, I'm sure, by the time you get around to them. I do want to talk about this one because this one, I think, was the one that shocked me the most, and just like, god damn, okay, we're doing this. Black kid drowns in pool. You won't believe it. Like, I wasn't sure what to expect. And I guess I want to point that out too. The thumbnails for these have to be, in some regards, maybe, possibly, somewhat AI generated.
That, and I think just totally meant to make you rage click, because they will put all sorts of stereotypes in that thumbnail to make you go, what? You know, like they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
100%.
Yeah.
Because in this icon, okay, your little thumbnail for your video, you see a black kid with some very, very spiky hair. One of the reasons I'm thinking AI here.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Jumping out of the water, or at least like he's trying to get out of the water, I'm guessing. His mouth looks a little weird too. That's another indicator for AI. Like, it just looks off. And then it looks like there's fried chicken dangling from strings in front of him.
100%. It is fried chicken dangling from strings. Yeah. So, yeah. So there you go. Another
Here's
insight into what we're after, what we're doing.
All right. So the video, you follow this kid. He's they all seem to be students of some sort, or just professionals of a kind. And he seems like he's working. He's doing his thing, and his girlfriend or his friend, was it his girlfriend or was it a friend?
I don't know if I remember.
I can't remember. I feel
Probably
like
both. It could be both. Could be a sister. I don't know.
Was it no? Yep. Sister. That's what it was. I think because there was a girl at the party that he got excited with. She was his stepsister. Remember, because I remember the dialogue they did, the whole "Thanks, stepsis. You're welcome, stepbro." Thanks.
Which will lead you to go, oh, we're going to have stepcest at the end of this, aren't we? Because they had to make sure we knew that. Like, that's my first instinct after watching enough of these. I'm like, they're leading towards that, aren't they? Okay. Or they want me to think so.
One of those things.
Yeah.
So they are having some conversation about him, needing to maybe go make some friends or whatever, because I think he was new to town. And then he was apparently invited to this pool party from this girl. And her friend, brother, I don't know. I think, no, they were friends, because it was the guy's house, I think, and his dad with the beard tattoo fucker.
Yeah.
Because he was all excited about having girls over, and then it was just the two. They were having such a big party.
Yeah, the guy with the long, the beard.
Yeah. And then the guy shows up to the party, the black guy. You got to keep that in mind too. That is very.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we have to point this out because it's kind of the point.
Yeah, very much the point. And then when he shows up, he seems a little confused, and then so do the people who are also at the party. Specifically, the two guys, the bearded guy and his dorky-looking son.
Yeah.
Who say, "Why is there a blank?" You can fill in the blank with whatever you want. Here, and that's where I was like, oh yeah, shit, because they didn't, they attempted to bleep it, but they have not bleeped it, where it was like you hear the bleep but you also hear the word too, and you're like,
oh, so that was probably another joke.
Yeah,
they probably intentionally missed it,
and it wasn't the first time you'll hear one of these
words
slurs. And they don't just stick with an N word. They use animal words, ghostly words.
Yep.
There was even one ghostly word that starts with a J that I was actually a little surprised by. It's also a dance and a ghostly sound, a boo, if you will.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't hear that one.
I think
but
I
I'm
missed
not
that. Yeah. Oh,
I'm not
didn't hear it.
Yeah, I didn't hear it, but I'm surprised. I'm sure it would be in another one.
Oh yeah, they've used slurs for any race, honestly, in most of them.
And I was surprised because I thought we weren't supposed to be doing that today.
Right. Especially when you didn't have a person of color say it. That's where
you said it. You said it to a person of color.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Look.
But
this is what they are doing over there. But they're teaching you it's wrong, I guess. I don't know.
That's at least what I'm trying to tell myself is you're leaning into the satire hard.
Yeah.
Where you kind of have to do this, and maybe you're using Blazing Saddles-esque rules here. The ignorant people use the words, but at the same time, I don't know if people buy that argument on it.
But I mean, you got to think this is probably Gen Z doing this. They all look young. So I don't know. Look, I feel like some things are coming back again that I was told we weren't allowed to, and stuff like that. Even like I remembered saying as a kid, yes. I'm sure we all did something, you know. And then when I hear it now, I'm like, wait a minute now. I was in trouble, you know. Anyway, but
I actually want to touch on that. Like, I don't want to condone it, and I'm not trying to say like, oh, we need to bring it back or anything like that. But
I bet it's the same word we're thinking of.
The word retard.
Yep, that's
saying it just to get it out there. Yeah, it's been making a comeback.
Like, I'm seeing all sorts of people use it just very casually now, all of a sudden. And look, as a person of my age, we did use that word a lot growing up. And it didn't mean, well, in our heads, it didn't mean that. Yes, is it cruel? Probably. Like, we weren't thinking of it that way, though. Just like people used to say, well, that's gay. It's like no one was even really thinking about how, well, some people probably were, but I think a lot of kids were just like, you heard it, you said it, this was what it meant to me.
It just became part of our vernacular.
Yeah.
It wasn't meant to be anything terrible. Like when we said, oh, that's retarded, it was like our version of somebody's slang of stupid, whatever that may be today. Yeah. You know, it was not meant as a slur. It was just meant as another term for that's dumb, that's stupid.
Right.
That's
Did
all
it come
we
off
meant.
of something hateful? Maybe. I just didn't put that weight into it.
Yeah.
Like it was just a word I heard. I'm like, okay, my friends are saying it. And I broke myself of the habit long ago.
Have to.
But now,
now it seems like it's okay. And I was just really shocked by that. I was like, oh. Okay.
And it seems like coming from the people who were like yelling at me about it or whatever. So I was just like, I don't know. Maybe Z will save us realizing that all of this other stuff is dumb. That we're like a lot of the things that we argue about as far as like giving words weight is kind of silly, or making new words because we didn't like how one word sounded because we have a word already that means that.
Yeah.
Why are we making a new one? You know? Anyway, but yes. Yeah. I hear it all the time now in YouTube videos from people I watch and stuff like that. I'm just like, all right.
Yeah. Whatever it may be.
I mean, I'm not going to try to put it back in rotation, but I'm just like, you guys, you do you. I don't, you know.
No, but it seems so odd because in the same vein of what I'm talking about here, we've been told so many times, don't say the N-word. And then you have white people in this video saying the N-word and be like, wait, I thought that was a no-no.
We're the only ones not allowed to say that word.
And I mean, that's fine. I'm not trying, like you said,
I'm not trying to
back.
advocate for saying it. I think no one should really. I don't know.
You get confused. Like, well, what are the rules, man? Because y'all keep moving the goalposts and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I just don't get mad at me for doing something that I didn't know was wrong.
Well, that's the thing, too. It's like you can have the conversation before you lose your flipping mind. Like, I don't know. Like, you grew up differently than I did, okay, sir, ma'am, whoever. We didn't think of it that way because you are putting your garbage in your brain into it and making it come that meaning out of me. And it's like, no, I didn't live your life up till this point. All that word I just said wasn't all of that you just put into it, but...
Yep.
Maybe it'll all work itself out in the end.
Right.
I don't know.
And another thing I wanted to touch on with these videos before, because we kind of got off of this one, but another thing that they do that I think is part of the humor that kind of works with it a little bit is they subtitle all of the videos. So
they do, and I'm sometimes thankful for it.
Yeah, and sometimes it's in the subtitles. Sometimes, I mean, it's just doing what it's doing. It's you're reading the subtitles, but sometimes you can, I don't know, it adds something. Like if the music is supposed to be a certain way, they make sure to describe it a certain way, like what it's supposed to be. And it might not be that, but you're just like, okay, I get what you're trying to emote here. And then they bleep certain things that you're just like, why is that the thing that you bleeped? And they'll put it in censored in the captions, like, okay, what? Confusing. But
just to get that reaction, you're like, now of all the things you did, you know.
This is confusing. But where was I? So yeah, the guy shows up to the party. The two racists come up and start. They do that guy thing. Come on, bro. You a fight, bro? Where two guys get face to face and just head to head. Come on, bro.
What's up, bro? Can you do it? Are you strong enough? Come on,
is the dumbest thing
sure.
I have ever seen guys do. And I've seen it so much. And it's just the dumbest posturing.
It's like, I guess you're thinking you're going to be the one who looks meaner and the other one's going to back down if you invade their space and make them uncomfortable kind of thing, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
It probably does work sometimes.
It might.
But can we just talk? I don't know.
But they come over, they start hassling the guy saying stupid, ignorant shit. And then the girl who invited him, she comes over and she's, I guess, saves the day, if you will. Being like, hey, Chad, leave him alone. Pushes him. Like her, I love that so much. There's the light push. Chad, come on. Leave him alone. And I've seen that in so many of those videos. The half acting sometimes just it makes or breaks something.
Yeah, but, and it's like, go ahead. I don't want you to.
They walk off. They go and talk and have a conversation. Meanwhile, the two racists are having their conversation. Oh man, having all the stereotypes. I think that was the thing. It's just like, look at him over there. What does he think he's doing? I don't know, man. But black guys, they all have huge wieners.
Yeah.
God, just makes me angry. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
What does it have to do with? And then, because this made no sense. But it just, whatever.
Yeah.
They're watching them talk. The two racists are watching the couple talk. And then they get up, go inside the house to do what? We can assume as much, but it's not their house. It's not their bedroom. I'm just like, what is going on here? And plus, we didn't even mention that the guy has an inhaler. I forgot about that. That was very important. So he has to get his inhaler, and then they go into the bedroom, and then, what does it say, like 3 hours later, he comes walking outside and just happy as can be. And, of course, he gets attacked by the two racists and just be like, yeah, man, what do you think? Get him, and whatever. And didn't they? Yeah, there was another guy there, too. A third party showed it. It was the weird guy, the one that you were just talking about, the little scrawny dude that shows up.
Oh, yeah. And the one that I'm pretty convinced is like one of the owners of the channel or writer or whatever the heck you consider what they're doing here. They're making stuff. They're making stuff. They
try to cut his wiener off. They chase him off toward the pool. He falls into the pool because the black kid's got to drown, remember?
Right, because they can't swim, of course.
Yeah, because that was a point. It was just a line. It was just like, yeah, of course he can't swim. He's black.
That is a stereotype.
What?
Yeah, I don't. Look,
I didn't know that was a stereotype. That is one I apparently missed.
Oh yeah, no, I heard that.
But the girl saves him.
Yes.
She pulls him out while everyone's laughing and watching or whatever.
By his huge dick. No, I'm kidding. She didn't.
By his huge.
But you would have thought it.
Yeah. And then he gives her a truth bomb. Maybe you should think about the people you're hanging out with. You know, you're terrible. And he goes home, sits with his sister and just ponders all this. We kind of get a sense of something here. And then he starts to choke. You know, and he starts to wheeze. He can't, and he's just. So she goes looks for his inhaler. She can't find it. Oh my God, where's the inhaler? Oh my God! And then the girl shows up, the girl from the party in the bikini, and she has the inhaler, and she's like, "Oh my God, I saved the day because I got here just in time because I noticed that the asshole had taken your inhaler, and I found it, so I had to rush right over here and get it back to you before you died." Yeah, And she's just said, I'm his girlfriend. So I'm assuming they did bang. because she's just committed 100%. We're boyfriend and girlfriend now. And he's like, all right,
well, I mean,
cool.
she just had some good 3 hours. So
She did.
She's like, I'm going to hang on to this one.
3 hours.
Dude.
Applause. I have not been able to do 3 hours.
Why would you want to? Anyway, you all do you, but I'm like, that's too long. We've got other things to do.
I'll advocate for 3 hours under one condition.
Uh-huh.
Very, very, very new relationship.
Yeah.
Been there. Okay.
Been there. I guess.
Been there. I understand that.
Longer when it was new, but I don't know that ever 3 hours. Oh my God.
Well, maybe not 3 hours in one sitting.
Sure. If you're talking like, I guess, starting, if you're the type that likes to, warm up to the end, then maybe. Yeah, if you're
I'm saying multiple times over the course of 3 hours.
Oh, okay, yes. All right, yes. Okay.
That way you could say, it was a 3 hour session. We just kind of went on and on.
We had to take a break, have a snack, come back.
Things happen,
Drink some water. Yeah.
There's no way. If I don't even want to see it. 3 hours of just bullshit. Kiss my ass.
That's a Viagra problem, I think they say.
Yeah. You're like athlete level stamina that you have. But even
you
then,
get tired.
You gotta, and sore.
And
shit gets sore,
you'll get a
man.
Cramp, man. No matter which one's taken over, eventually that position, your leg's gonna cramp up. Maybe I'm just looking at it through my old lady eyes now, where I'm like, oh my God, my hip is gonna go, and then.
Hey, you rub skin long enough, it gets raw. Okay.
Right? Oh my gosh.
I don't know what we're talking
about. There's just so much wrong with that. Yeah. Anyway, you kids have fun.
You kids have fun. Point being, once the girlfriend shows up, the stepsister, sorry. She goes to get water for him, but she comes back and she sees this girl and she's so upset. She's so upset because she wanted her brother. The narrator, we didn't even talk about the narrator. There's a narrator.
Oh, yeah, he does. There is a narrator throughout all of them. You're right. And he does add quite a bit, actually. He's probably the only decent one.
Yeah, he at least sets up the situation and then maybe finishes it off at the end or adds some exposition if need be. He's not there the entire time, but he at least sets the stage for you.
Especially when they want to make a turn so drastic that had nothing to do with anything. You'll hear him start to narrate it and you're like, what? And then there's the scene. Like this
the
next
sister.
thing.
It was something along the lines of, little did we know his sister had a secret, or no, they had a secret sexual relationship, the two of them. That's right, yeah. And so we just never talked about it. And then, of course, now we find out, oh, no, and now she's jealous because it's whatever. And then,
there's always a lot wrong.
We cut to the end, and the little racist squirrely guy is filming a video, and that's about where it ends.
I think he wanted to be him because didn't he put on like a do-rag in the video and like filmed himself like is this what you like? I'm gonna pretend to be like the most scrawniest white kid you've ever seen.
Yeah, being awesome.
Which is again maybe part of the joke. I don't know. Look, I just assume everything they're doing is just to bait you into rage.
And if you're buying into it, you're not paying attention because something tells me a lot of these. There's at least one YouTube video channel that I follow that I've heard this from, and I can only imagine how many they get from this. But I'm honestly surprised that I don't know if they do, because I'm looking at some of their videos here, and I noticed that some of the chat gets shut off.
Oh, so, true.
I don't know.
Probably during the premiere.
Maybe. Anyway,
but
there's a YouTube channel that I follow called Mr. Sunday Movies. I'm sure I've brought him up on this channel before. He does this series called Caravan of Garbage. The title it reflects to an old Ewoks movie, and at first it was meant to talk about questionably bad movies, like movies that people would say are bad. But eventually it kind of evolved, and now they talk about whatever. So when they talk about what is considered a good movie on this series called Caravan of Garbage, well, people immediately, how dare you? Immediately go on the defensive, and then they have to respond with, did you actually watch the video? Because if you watch the video, you would notice that we talked highly of this movie in this series called Caravan of Garbage. I know what it looks like on the surface, but we actually love this movie. So watch the video next time before you just start.
I feel like you should do that with anything you're so confident to want to spout off about. Go learn the thing and figure out what because again, you're just falling victim to it then. Like if you saw the title, got baited, and then just started spouting off, not even watching any of it.
Yeah.
You kind of outed yourself you outed yourself, whether you care or not, as someone who gets rage over something that they don't actually study or understand. I'm not saying you shouldn't get mad at these. Maybe like that's on you or whatever, but I feel like, I don't know, I can forgive a lot when it's presented in the right way.
You can see so I'll admit this, all right? Because I do want you to talk about your next video, whatever other video you've got, but I do want to talk about this. So when you presented this to me, and I watched the first video that I saw, like that I chose, I saw what they were trying to do. Like I could see the structure of the humor. I was like, okay, I see what they're making fun of. I see what they're trying to go for. But it was very hard to get into. Like I was just like, I don't know if this is going to be for me.
Sure.
But I stuck with it. And I was like, all right, let me try a different video because maybe that wasn't the right one.
Sure.
And then I saw another one. And it was almost like it helped structure my expectations just a little bit because it was like, I know what to expect.
Uh-huh.
I see what they're trying to do. So the second one, it was still cringy, but I was like, but I chuckled just a little bit. And I was like, all right. Next video. It's like it took a minute for it to just settle in to what they're doing. And I don't mean that in any way negative, but it's jarring.
No, it is.
Because of the content. Because they're doing bad acting, bad production value purposefully.
Oh, God, yes.
And then talking about some very extreme topics.
The stuff everybody's so scared to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, and you probably shouldn't talk about it this way, but nevertheless, that's what they're doing.
Talking about it.
Yeah.
And in not the best ways possible sometimes. And like, even when you look at the headlines, I think those alone, like you say, I'm looking at one right now. I'm just like, the rage alone that I'm sure came from that headline.
And they knew it too, because you'll probably click on it and get mad. And then you're going to share it because you were so mad because you want other people to join in on being mad about this thing. And now all those people clicked on the video and now the views are going up, the ad money's going up. They don't care whether you liked it or not. They cared that you watched it.
Yeah. And they might not have a lot of subscribers per se, or a lot of videos by YouTube standards. But when you look at the views they have,
people are watching.
People are watching, and they're more than their subscribers. So
yeah, because probably too many people are like, I don't want to subscribe to. I mean, I know you can't see what other people subscribe to or whatever, but there's probably still that part in the back of your head. Well, if YouTube decides to want to make that public one day, even though I hope they never do, I kind of like the fact that you get to keep it to yourself. You don't need to be fighting now about somebody else seeing what video you watch. Jesus Christ, But or this, I just get like, why are you watching this, Lace? I don't know. Okay.
And I'm genuinely curious if they are able to monetize. Because
I've had ad block on for so long, I don't know. I know I'm that scourge of YouTube right now. I'm sorry.
Because I can't imagine, even from labeling it satire, how is the algorithm going to know? I cannot imagine the amount of shit they've had to put up with from the algorithm alone just to get their videos up. Because again, look at the content. Look at the things they're saying. I mean, these videos should be immediately flagged, being like, you can't say that.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised, I guess, that it kept going, but maybe, like, it's a free speech thing, I think, still, too, Like, you should be allowed to make and put out whatever you want, and then it's up to you as the person to click on it, watch it, or, interact with it. Yeah. But I think at the end of one of them, maybe it's sponsors. Because the
sponsors for sure.
One that I watched that I actually listened to them at the end was a cannabis supplier.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. I could see them being a sponsor because you'd have to be kind of high to really get into it, like where you could stare at it for more than 5 minutes at a time, but maybe it's sponsors. Yeah, I don't know if they're monetized. Can you tell?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it would just have to be whether
it just
or
seems
not.
Like with that many views, YouTube would slap one in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Most YouTube ads are scams anyway, so I don't know if I feel bad for them, but
yeah. I'm honestly I would really like to know what the if they have any issues whatsoever, because I know just from my own experiences, just one little thing can red flag something. So
age gated, maybe I could see that.
They'd have to be.
Yeah.
Have to be. There's no fucking way that you could not age gate these and just be like,
oh God, yeah, right. Family friendly. It is not though. I mean, I guess it depends on your family. Their families are very friendly together. Maybe that's it.
Maybe.
Because yes, they are.
So what is another video that you wanted to talk about?
Well, I mean, and maybe that was a perfect segue also into this one, because again, the name of the video, hot girl cheats with giant schlong. You won't believe it. Because there's always you won't believe it. You will. It's shocking. That's another one they put in there. It's shocking. So yeah, it's another boyfriend and girlfriend. But I never remember the people's names. I'm sorry. I probably should have wrote those down as I was writing notes about these, but I didn't. But they were dating. He's in the military though. And she stays with him at his family's house. So it's him, his brother, his mom, his dad, and his girlfriend. Okay. And he gets deployed. And of course he asks, stay faithful to me, do all this kind of stuff. I gotta go, baby, blah, 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 and they have that moment. But then as they're all gathering to like say goodbye to him, like the family's standing there saying goodbye, the brother, I want to say like a year or two, maybe younger than him, excuses himself for some random reason, goes upstairs, is texting with someone, takes a picture of himself and sends the pic. But didn't pay attention that he sent it to the family group chat. Like, okay. I don't even know how you mix that up when you're already in the text message with somebody. But again, for shock value, I'm sure. Apparently, it's pretty hefty. So when he came down the stairs and everyone's like, girlfriend's like, okay. So nothing is said. He goes on his deployment or whatever. And then she, of course, approaches him like, I thought you two would be the same. You're not. Let me see it. And then, now they're having an affair. So they're having an affair again one day in the bed or whatever. And dad catches them because everybody just walks into everybody's room in these situations. Nobody has any privacy in any of these videos. And instead of yelling, he decided he should be with them too. And so he says it's fine so long as she sleeps with him also. So mind you, his son in bed with his other son's girlfriend is now getting into bed with them both. Now mom walks in. Is mom going to be mad? Is she going to be pissed or whatever? No, she joins in too. Listen. Mom, dad, son, and girlfriend are now, and it's like a twin bed. Let's all keep that in mind too. It's not even a big bed. So they got 4. They're basically all related. It's gross. So they're doing that while we also cut to brother on deployment, actual boyfriend, right? Mm-hmm. It's rough out there, man. He's trying to survive this war or whatever the frick he's doing. Steps on a landmine. You're like, yep, he's dead. That's just how it is. No, he was fine. His leg kind of hurt, But then some other person comes up and demands that them two now sleep together too. Like this is this whole episode. It's just everybody screwing everybody. But the narrator for this one, I also had to write it down because narrator 6 months later, she had a baby and didn't know whose it was because she slept with the whole family.
Oh my God. In
6 months, Jonathan comes home, but weed fixes everything and they have like a joint together. And yeah, it's okay, Sure. But so they ended up fine in the end. Like, yeah, he was a little upset when he came home. He's like, you've been sleeping with my whole family. Like, literally, you slept with my brother and my mom and my dad at the same time. Probably several times. I think it was like, if I wrote it down, it was another one where they just like threw the baby away or something, because that's what they do in these videos. And I'm just like, oh my God, this rubber baby has had so many roles in your videos. What?
Yeah. What?
You know,
that's all I can say.
I shouldn't have been shocked. Like, I kind of figured, I'm like, oh, dad. And dad, by the way, is the same guy from the military who came in to try to take them from the military in the first video you're watching with the Whippets. Mm-hmm. So he was the dad now, but they put him in like a long, like hippie style, like he's drinking Natty Light, Merca, that kind of character, you know, which I guess is why we're supposed to believe they'd all be together. I don't know.
I guess.
I was just like, what is going on here? But yes, so everybody got screwed by everybody in very many ways in this episode. But the narrator was the one who really kicked it for me there at the end, where it's just 6 months later, they had a baby. Didn't know whose it was because she slept with the whole family in 6 months. In 6 months?
Because they just made it okay, I guess.
And just randomly now? Okay, I don't know. So a dick pic apparently is very powerful in this family.
Apparently.
Well, they got that whole thing going. Yeah, no. So there's really not much more to say about that one. But yeah.
I'm trying to think of something that else that hits on a different level.
Kid gets knocked out in front of his crush. Unbelievable. And it was the one where he got like ran over by a car or something. Like, They were like, it was so weird because they're like walking home. Oh my gosh. This one I think I laughed too hard at too, because it was like she's dating this one guy, but her ex was wanting her back. And he's a bigger dude than the one she's dating now. So when the ex comes by, and they get into a fight and he punches new guy, but she goes with old ex because he can protect her. He's big and strong and he's the protector, right? So he gets jacked, right? He's like, I'm gonna beat. I learned karate and I did all this stuff. And he sees them at like some sporting event on the bleachers or whatever and walks up to them, and then they get into another fight. And this time he wins. And she, of course, goes to his arm and it's like, oh, my hero, we're so great. And so they're walking home together, you know, and he has this moment of clarity where he's like, wait a minute. You only like me now because I beat him up and you left me earlier because of this or whatever. And they get into like a legitimate fight about it. I mean, a little late. You were already walking home. You had decided you were taking her. So I don't know which clarity had happened here. But he just got so angry and then he pushes her and a car comes by and just runs her over. And that's what I'm like, oh my God, you just killed her. And that was another moment with the dummy where they just like threw a dummy in front of the car and it flips. And then you just see her like laying on the ground. And I was just like, That escalated quickly. He just punches her. He punches her, guys. Punches her. She falls, and then right as the car comes out, and she's dead now. And he lived very happy now, knowing that happened. But I guffawed at that at the end, because I honestly didn't see that coming, where he just straight up jacked her that hard. And then with the dummy flying, I was just like, this is glorious. This is a glorious way to end this. And she's dead, but I was just like, oh my God. So yeah, they love to throw that dummy around. And I think they picked the perfect moments to do it.
Yeah.
Even for that, I wasn't expecting that.
There was
like to kill her, just straight up kill her.
Well, it sounds very similar to another one that I'm thinking of. If I'm trying to remember, I think this is the very first one that I watched, and I think it was white
the first
kid.
One's always the roughest.
White kid shamed for his small penis.
Oh, I did. I saw those, but I didn't actually watch them. But I did see those because there's like a 3-parter or something for that, or a 2-parter.
Yeah, there's at least a 2-parter because I saw the second. I didn't watch it, but I saw it on there, so I was curious. Is like, where the fuck did you go with this for a part 2? But this one really starts with a guy and his girlfriend just sitting together watching TikTok videos or whatever, and then they see a guy's penis on a video or something to that effect, and then they start talking about like, how big is it supposed to be, whatever, and then of course the question starts, well, how big is yours? And he starts getting self-conscious and he starts freaking out. And she's like, no, it's fine. It's normal. It's normal. And of course, he can't see it that way because he doesn't have an average size penis, I guess, according to what people are saying. And then, of course, everybody...
I would have to see.
Everybody he keeps encountering keeps reminding him that,
that his penis is small.
Yeah, he doesn't have a big penis. He's small. And then, of course, his girlfriend has been taken by this other guy who's a really big... I guess he's
endowed.
Yeah. He's a big guy. Let's just put it that way. Mm-hmm. And he reminds people, all whites got small meats and... very awkward shit. All these people going on and on and on to the point where eventually his girlfriend breaks up with him or whatever, and he's just depressed throughout this entire video about being made fun of. He decides he's going to go kill himself. So he's standing at this bridge and he's getting ready to jump, and then the guy who mocked him, the big guy, comes up and is like, hey, bro, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, no, don't do that. I'm sorry. I didn't know I did that to you. In fact, he pulls out his phone and he goes to a live stream. He's like, hey, everybody out there, I have a small penis too.
Aww.
Puts it back and says, I see I did that for you. He's like, oh, man, you did that for me? And then they start just like fist bumping and broing and everything.
Yeah.
And then the girlfriend shows up. And she's like, what are you guys doing? And it's like, hey, don't you make fun of anybody. And then they start having a little scuffle. She was with the black guy. That was one of the things, along with the white guy she broke up with. And then start having this little back and forth, a little contentious. And then she looks at the black guy and she's like, are you going to do anything about this? He's insulting me. And he grabs her and he chucks her off the fucking bridge. And then they sit on the bridge. And then they start making out. And you're just like, all right. That's where we went.
Oh my God, love it. See, there's something wrong with me. I'm like, that was just too great. I should have watched that one then now.
So watch that one, yeah. Like I said, it didn't hit me at first, but then when I look back on it, I was like, that was actually pretty good. I like what they did.
It's like, you gonna do anything? Yeah. Chuck you over. We're done here.
So it's this kind of humor that you're getting.
Oh, man. Because, I guess, I don't know. Probably have given you all enough of an idea of what you're in for here if you dare to walk over into that direction, out of morbid curiosity, or don't get too excited to go watch them. Let me just say that. Don't get too excited. That's it. But one of their good running series, apparently, according to their views and everything, is Karen Hunts Down Mexicans. You won't believe what she does, And then there's Karen Hunts Down Mexicans Part 2. What happens next is shocking. And I've seen a lot of people in the comments like Part 3 or we riot. So I'm like, oh, okay. But I did watch those two because just the picture of the woman in the thumbnail alone, I'm like, okay, look, this is very, very cliche Karen, Yeah. So yeah, no, they're hunting Mexicans, and it's for the exact reason you would think. They're coming over here illegally, blah, 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 all that nonsense, right? So, but it is the twist that kind of did it for me, again, with this one, because she does go to jail at the end of Part 1, because you can't just go out and shoot people, right? Like, even if you think you're doing it for the greater good or whatever, you have it in your mind, and it's kind of like a family thing, like she got her son into doing it, like he helps her out or whatever. So, but the husband's a cop, you see. So the way it all came down, she does get out of jail, breaks out of jail. Her and her son just goes on this rampage, hunting them all down and doing all this kind of stuff. But they do kind of end up getting caught, because you can only do it so many times before, it catches up with you. And it happened to be her husband who catches them. And so, they're over the newest body that they just collected, and the mom and the son standing there just telling dad, this was us. This is what we do, this is the right way to be, and we should cleanse them all or whatever. And then mom and son make out for a very long time. She admits how she's been so in love with him and how her husband's no longer doing it, and they shoot the husband. So mom and son, I guess, live happily ever after shooting Mexicans together.
Sure.
Till she goes back to jail. Sure. But when I saw them start making out, I was like, oh, no. No, look. I have abided a lot from you tomorrow, CJ. I have abided a lot. But what are you doing right now? So, yeah, I don't know, guys. That one, I don't know. I actually did find it kind of funny. I know it's bad. It's terrible. I should hate myself probably. But I guess they presented it enough of a way where I'm like, this is just kind of hilarious.
Yeah, I think that's where you have to... I don't think it's a shock to say that you will know by now whether or not this is up your alley or not. Like,
yeah,
if
I'm
this
sure,
is the type of humor you're after, because it's the absurd on top of the absurd on top of the absurd. Like, if that's your type of thing, like, you want to see how far somebody can push it in absurdity, this is what it is. Like, I don't know another way to describe it better than that.
Yeah, if there's a cliche, they're going to lean into it, and they're going to be as awful and morally bankrupt about it as humanly possible. And I guess at the end, the good people do kind of win for the most part. You know,
Yeah.
However, I guess you decide who's good or bad in a lot of these scenarios. So there's your lesson, I guess. Like,
I guess.
you know, you're a terrible, terrible human. You're still going to have bad things happen to you, you know, but if not, then yeah, you're going to have a bad time. Yeah, there's just so many. Yeah. Because I was like, did you watch the one White Family Terrorizes Their Maid? They Live to Regret It.
I've seen it, but I have not watched it.
That was another one where I'm like, oh boy, you know, because they throw another baby away. And I'm just like, you guys throwing these babies is just hilarious to me. Because it's just how they just do it randomly in the middle of something. Because like just a TLDR, the New Mexican woman gets a job as a maid for a white family who's also very racist and garbage. They're throwing food around. They're being all mean, making her clean it up and all this kind of stuff. But she doesn't have enough money. So it's like she has a 5 or 6 year old at home, you know, but also a baby, you know, little baby. So the kid's like basically watching the other kid. So when she comes home from her first day of work, you know, 5, 6 year olds, he's excited. Yay, mom's home, blah, blah. How was work? Let's play or whatever. And she's like, oh, I'm tired. I'm sorry. I can't do it. How was it with your brother? And she looks over, and then just all of a sudden, we have this dramatic cry. The baby's dead. What happened? They're all now screaming and just moment. And then they do like a little flashback of what actually happened. And it was just like the 5-year-old or whatever asleep on the couch or whatever. And just this masked man walks in, takes the baby, punches it twice, puts it back down and leaves. That's it.
Okay.
So she goes back to work the next day, you know, just goes to work and says that's what happened. You know, just she's fine now. They probably just threw it in the garbage. Like, that's how we do in tomorrow's teachings. Just throw it away. It'll all be fine. That's where I died. It's just watching the masked man come in twice on this little baby doll, set it back down and just leave. So it was like the whole reason he wanted to walk in there. Maybe the baby was crying and he's like, I'm putting an end to this. I don't know.
Why not?
And then she was fine. I don't know. And then, of course, the family was just very rude to her about the whole thing because that's how they are when you're racist, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, did the flashback at the end? Sorry, guys. I lost it. Just watching this. I punched this baby doll. Yeah, so just go home, take your kids. Yeah. Don't let a 5-year-old babysit your kid because masked men will come in and punch the baby, I guess.
I don't know. Like I said, if you'll know whether or not this is up your alley.
Yeah, I think we've given you enough now to decide.
You know, just again, not for the faint of heart, not for the squeamish, in the sense of how sensitive you are.
Yeah, if you're going to offend easily, just leave it alone. Don't interact with it. Just don't do that to yourself. Because
again, this is not meant to be serious. It's satire. It's joke. But I know some people have a hard time discerning satire. So
you're not wrong, especially today.
So if you watch one of these, if you tried to watch it and it makes you uncomfortable,
that's fine.
Then just walk away. It's fine. Yeah, it's okay. If you want to try to teach yourself to learn satire, might be a good try to, you know.
Yeah. Maybe start with like a better one. I don't know. Let's see. Is there one where the title's not complete and utter rage bait? Karen destroys cancer fundraiser. There you go. That one doesn't sound as bad. I know.
I guess. Or how about a hacker takes family's money? That doesn't sound
There you
problematic
go.
at all.
That's, yeah. And as I'm scrolling, we might have found the two.
Maybe. Because I don't really see a lot of... Nope.
No.
Okay. So, hey, siblings.
Yeah, I'm still scrolling, and it's like 2 years ago. Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy nanny steals baby. What happens next is shocking.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's not too problematic. Yeah, sure.
Sure. None of this is good.
No. So, siblings, have you ever heard of Tomorrow's Teachings? Have you seen their videos? Are you a fan? You never heard of it? Let us know on social media at Super Mega Crash, or you can send us a very long, angry email at supermegacrash@gmail.com.
We won't read it, but you can send it. Yeah.
You can send it. If it's really well written, I'll read it on the show.
Oh, well, that's fair.
Yeah. Support the show over on Patreon. Leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcasting app. Keep up with any and all things over at pencilpaperproductions.com/supermegacrash. Links are in the show notes. Join us again next week, siblings. But until then, use Tomorrow's Teachings to make the world a better place and then go beyond your limits.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.